Right, guys, so this one is chemical reactions and equations for our lab flow. Most of this we've already covered inside of our lectures, okay, in our practice video. So we're just kind of gonna review a little bit of it, okay. The most important thing about this lab is to make sure that you're recording your observations and that you've actually noted all the signs of chemical changes, right? So chemical changes, what they are is when something actually changes from its original state into something else. So it's not a physical change, it's actually a chemical change. You can't reverse the process. Okay. Um, the next one, you have, so examples of chemical changes are going to be like your formation of gas. If you see bubbles, if you have a precipitate that's forming, so some sort of solid or cloudiness that you're going to notice. A color change, two white solutions turn yellow, they turn gray, whatever might happen. Or if it feels hot or cold to your hand, right? So heat lost or gained. Okay. These are the different symbols to help identify what it is that we're talking about in chemical equations. So a plus sign means you're adding things together. It's going to separate things on the same side. So this plus that. The little arrow means yield to produce. When you see the arrow plus a triangle, that means you've added heat or there is a heat change, right? So you could either add heat or take away heat. It just means you're changing it. So there's a change. And we know these ones, solid, liquid, gas, and aqueous. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and skip through most of this since we've already gone through balancing our chemical equations and creating chemical equations. Types of chemical equations. So we have synthesis, which is when we have two elements combined together to make one. I used to call this the marriage, right? So two get married and make one couple. Decomposition, which is the opposite, is when a couple breaks apart into two or more different products, right? So in this case, decomposition of calcium carbonate breaks apart into calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. And you'll notice that you had a heat change taking apart in this one. A single displacement is what we call our home wrecker. So this single element comes and wrecks this molecule, breaks it apart, right? So you get something else by itself. So the single element came and a single element was left out. Double displacement reaction, okay? In this case, two molecules, right? Two molecules replace each other. So like the cations or anions switch spots and you make two different molecules. So two molecules make two different molecules, okay? And you could just switch the anions on both or switch the cations. And finally, combustion. Whew. So combustion is a fuel reaction in which you combine your fuel source with oxygen, and you're always going to produce carbon dioxide and water in a combustion reaction. Right. So this is performing your experiment, the steps by steps on it. Okay. Now let's go into your worksheet. So you want to be able to describe, okay, this is all about your descriptions and your observations. You want to describe the appearance of what does that element look like and give me the evidence of that reaction that occurred. Did it make bubbles? Was there a color change? Did it go from shiny to dull? What's happening? Okay, so describe that evidence. Balance your chemical equation. So in this case, if we want to balance it, we have one magnesium, two oxygens, one oxygen. So I'm going to put a 2 here. So now I have two oxygens. But I have two magnesiums, so I'm going to put a 2 here. Now I have two magnesiums, and I'm just going to put a 1 there, right? What kind of reaction is this? Where we have A plus B gives me an AB product. It's a marriage, right? And a marriage is known as a synthesis or a combination. So you want to write your equation down. Okay. And then here is, what did you see? Did it produce gas? Did it light on fire? What happened, right? So be very descriptive of the appearance of magnesium and what occurred. Okay. Same thing for the rest of those. Now let's go into this little table here. Okay. So the appearance of it, same thing. Evidence of a chemical change, same thing. Type of reaction, write it down. Okay, what reaction? Was it single, double synthesis? Whatever occurred, you write it down. Right, now this is the reaction of metals with hydrochloric acid, and in which the metal is going to react with the acid itself to produce something. Now remember that when we were writing it down, I believe not all metals react with an acid, and precious metals do not react with an acid at all. And we know that most reactive metals react with water and produce metal hydroxides, those kind of things. But with acids, not all metals react with acids. So how do we know which ones react and which ones don't react? You want to go to the activity series, okay, and look at where they fall. Series of metals, and look at where it falls in place of that hydrogen. So the metal and hydrogen, which one is above it, right? So the one that we have here in our LABFLOW is, where is it? Zinc and hydrogen. So let's compare zinc and hydrogen. All right, so here's hydrogen and zinc is up here. This reaction will occur. However, you notice that if I had a reaction with copper, this reaction will not occur. So do we have one with copper? Ah, we do. We have one with copper right here. So that reaction is not going to occur. Okay, so there's no reaction with that one. You might want to still balance it out, but then write down no reaction. Okay. All right. Same thing with the rest of these. Exact same thing. What do these two individual ones look like? What is the evidence of a chemical reaction? Behavior of the flame. What did you notice of the flame? Is it sparking? Is it dancing? Is it still? What color is it? Is it large? Is it thin? Right? Like you want to describe the flame. Bright, dull, balance it, and give me that type of reaction that it's going to have. Okay. And that's it. That was it for chemical reactions and equations. Like I said, most of it was in our previous videos. You guys, take care. Ciao.